Alright, well, I thought I'd do a wrestling recap on video instead of writing that out, just sharing it with one person. I thought maybe I'd post it to YouTube and see if maybe two people would watch it. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the week that was in wrestling this past week, kicking off with Monday, September 6th, so the last 7 days in the world of pro wrestling. Ring of Honor on HDNet, no show, so that saved me an hour. Unfortunately, that show, according to PWInsider.com, a great website, by the way, they are averaging almost half an hour of wrestling a week, so unfortunately a lot of in-ring action was missing from this week's review. And just got to send a shout out to my buddy X. It really sucks doing wrestling reviews by yourself. Really wish that I could play off of your mindless rants and my mindless rants. But let's try to move on here with the show. And well, let's start with Raw. Monday, September 6th was Monday Night Raw. Nexus kicked off the show in the ring. As I've mentioned before, I really don't like when the show starts with talking. But each member of Nexus got to talk on the mic. They all had a groundbreaking speech claiming to have destroyed The Undertaker last week. Anybody who saw last week's episode knows that Undertaker was hardly destroyed. Nexus definitely got in a little bit of a rub by knocking out Taker and getting in a couple of finishers on him. But Undertaker has been around a lot longer than they have and probably will be around longer than Nexus will anyway. So Nexus certainly shouldn't be claiming they destroyed The Undertaker. By no means did that actually happen. But Nexus gave a pretty good promo. I thought each member of the group was fairly good on the mic, too, which is definitely showing that they have improved a great deal. I love that they addressed the fact that Skip Sheffield is gone to injury. This group is actually probably better off shaving off some of the fat, per se, having a couple of members no longer in the group. Randy Orton interrupted them. That was also interrupted by GM Michael Cole, who added a couple of really good matches to the show, and then banned Nexus from ringside, as we see almost every week. Same old predictable stuff. I really love how over Randy Orton is right now, though. That was definitely evident with their show this week. GM Michael Cole interrupted Chris Jericho's entrance to let him know that him and Edge were going to be punished for quitting on Team WWE last week. This was a great side story, and it actually played out really well because Jericho wound up losing a fantastic match to John Morrison. Those two had a very good bout. Was really impressed with the work by both of them. The best Starship pain to date was delivered in this one. The slow-mo camera that they put during the broadcast showed just how brilliant Morrison looked in nailing the finisher and actually beating Chris Jericho and eliminating him from the six-pack challenge at Night of Champions. I thought this was a great way to tell a story. This story is very intriguing. Jericho, of course, lost his mind, but instead of going crazy, just went into some sort of deep, nebulous thinking mode for the rest of the show, which was actually kind of amusing. Jericho now out of the six-pack match. I don't know how this helps Chris Jericho or the card for the pay-per-view, but it does avoid them having to go through the win or retire stipulation he gave himself a few weeks earlier. I don't know if they intended on Jericho actually winning the title and then decided that they didn't want to do that anymore, or if they have a bigger plan for Jericho. I do think not having him in the six-pack challenge is a bad idea. I do also think Jericho moving to SmackDown would be a good idea, so maybe this is their way of moving him. But right now I'm going to hold reservation, as I did love the match between Morrison and Jericho, and I'm going to like to see where this goes in the next couple of weeks. Then we had Chick Wrestling, which always sucks on Raw. Alicia Fox had a really crappy promo. Melina outworked her this week and then beat her. I don't know if that was a title match or not. I didn't really pay attention because I hate the women's matches. Anyway, then we had a backstage segment, which was actually pretty good, between Ted DiBiase and Maurice. They're, of course, supposed to be a hot item, and Maurice apparently has a secret admirer. My guess, probably somebody from next Season 2, or NXT Season 2. But you never know. But they played up the fact that DiBiase and Maurice are actually very contrasting personalities. It was kind of funny. So I like the work from both of them out of this. I don't really care where it goes, but it was pretty good. John Cena defeated Justin Gabriel in an amazing match. I thought it was excellent work out of Justin Gabriel. He really showed he's got some talent and could definitely be a player in the future for the company. John Cena actually didn't really look like he had to carry Gabriel at all either, which was great. I thought these two really played off each other very well. They had great chemistry in the ring. A top rope attitude adjustment for the win. Kind of a sloppy delivery on that, but it definitely was emphatic. Told a story. It was great storytelling in the ring, something Raw usually lacks. So I was really impressed with John Cena and Justin Gabriel's work. Then The Miz came out, recapped his career for us. You got to see a cover of TV Guide when he was on The Real World, blah, blah, blah. Miz is really good on the mic. I don't really go for these promos. This, of course, was a magazine unveiling segment, which you usually get on SmackDown. But this time the magazine unveiling segment was for WWE Magazine, whoopity-doo. This was interrupted by Bryan Daniel, Daniel Bryan. I'm never going to get Bryan Danielson's fake name right. Daniel Bryan set up a really good feud with The Miz, coming out, interrupting, basically establishing himself as the anti-Miz. The crowd really loved that. I thought Bryan was really good on the mic, too, so I was really impressed with that, considering he was never really known for his mic skills or his promo work anywhere prior to arriving in the WWE. So definitely liked his work there. They played off each other really well, and it set up a U.S. title match at Night of Champions, which is going to be fantastic. Alex Riley made the save for The Miz when Daniel Bryan was going to embarrass The Miz, so it's good to see Riley was not completely removed from the storylines as well. I think Riley as The Miz's lackey for the next few weeks will definitely be a good idea. Then Edge came out. He demanded that he get to face woo Zack Ryder in his match to be punished by the fake GM, who's actually Michael Cole. But the fake GM, who's actually Michael Cole, decided to put Edge in a match with Great Khali. Now, Edge, being the wily veteran he is, decided to win by countout and did this in a very entertaining way, making Khali the new biggest loser, because I cannot tell you the last time Great Khali actually won a match against anybody that actually mattered. I'm not sure what overness they're playing off of anyway, except the fact that he's huge. The fake GM, who's actually Michael Cole, decided that Edge did not deserve credit for the win, made him wrestle Great Khali anyway. Edge wound up winning a bizarre top rope challenge where the ref forgot the rules briefly. Great Khali actually climbed out of the ring over the top ropes, which technically should have eliminated himself, but the ref decided not to say that was an elimination until the second time Khali did it, and Edge yanked on his foot to get credit for it. So it was very WCW of them to suddenly forget the rules of a match. But Edge was really good in this segment, but overall this whole Great Khali thing just was terrible on television. Chris Jericho was reflective backstage, again not talking. John Morrison was very funny, coming up with him and doing a little bit with Jericho backstage. Really liked the work John Morrison did throughout the entire show. Very impressed. He's come such a long way in the last 3-4 years. Then your main event was Randy Orton beating Wade Barrett in another excellent match. They put all the other Six-Pack Challenge members who were not eliminated on the mic with the announcers, had them view the match from ringside. Orton wound up nailing an RKO on pretty much the entire cast, too, so that was huge for Orton. They're building up the fact that Orton will face Cena one-on-one next week to main event Raw. Don't really know what that means, considering it's not going to be for a title. Neither one has a belt, and the real match for the title is going to be in 2 weeks. But it should be a really good match anyway. These two have had epic battles at pay-per-views previously. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it right here. We're going to come back with part 2. I'm going to get into Tuesday's action on WWE Next NXT.